one of these weird things. I decided to go on Instagram Live, and now I can't switch it off. So watch everyone. It's the technical difficulties you weren't expecting are the worst ones. So let's see if I just close Instagram. So everyone sees it. If anyone sees me live broadcasting this, do you know Mark Ruffalo? He did the same thing at a screening of the Avengers and got into a lot of trouble. So hopefully I won't. So good afternoon, Jumbo, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I think I haven't had a chance to meet many people, and while we're chatting, guys, I seem to have lost the clicker, so friends in the back, if you know where the clicker is, please let me know. Is it hiding there? Very important. Yes, good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us. I haven't had a chance to meet lots of people. I think lots of people would have met my predecessor, Andrew Human, who has come to Kenya and held a number of these different platforms and discussion platforms together. And this is a great opportunity for me to get to meet everyone. So I'm hoping that throughout the course of today, we'll get a chance to all say hello, and I'll get to say hello personally to every single person. The key reason for me coming here is very, very simple. I took over from the Loeries 2 years ago, and I had this really interesting experience where I remember it was in December 2019. Loeries made me an offer and said, please come join us as the CEO. And I went, great, it's fantastic. And they said, you don't have to worry about anything. Everything is sorted. We've got an entire plan for 2020. You just need to come and just execute the plan. And we've got these great ideas that are already in place in terms of holding this amazing creative week. So I went, fantastic, easiest gig in the world. I'm going to pitch up, and it's going to be really fun. And then COVID hit. And things absolutely changed. So I had tickets booked to Kenya, all of that was done, to come here and to meet all of you, and we canceled all of that, and things absolutely changed. Now, 2 years into my Loeries stint, it's the first time I'm getting to meet all of you, and I can promise you it's not going to be the last. I'm looking forward to coming a lot more often. So really quickly, just to share some of the work we're doing and give you an idea how things have changed in the last 2 years and some of the things that I've been passionate about and putting effort into. Got the clicker, but it doesn't work. It's technical. There we go. Oh, Max overshot for me. There we go. Sorry, Max. So just to give you an idea in terms of Loeries and the work that we do. So Loeries really exists to support creative excellence. We started in 1978 and have been around for 44 years right now. And since then, we've actually grown to cover an area that covers over 70 countries and a region of nearly 2 billion people. And we're a non-profit, and as part of that mandate as a non-profit, what we do is we ensure that every single cent that Loeries gains actually goes into supporting creative excellence. There's not a single cent that's wasted that goes to a shareholder or to anyone else. It goes into our community and strengthening our community. And then comes the question is, why do we need this? Because sometimes what happens is, from the outside, when people look in and they go, awards doesn't make sense, it's just a bunch of creative people and marketers and production people patting themselves on the back and saying, oh, we did a fantastic job. And that's not really what we do. And I think we understand this in the room. The work that we all do together as a group is that we're actually supporting these nearly 2 billion people through the work that we're doing. When we produce a piece of communication, you're not just producing something that's out there to actually look really good. What you actually are doing is you're helping individuals in society to get access to the information that they need to be able to make the decisions they need. Think about this during COVID. If our industry was not involved in a number of different areas, society in a number of different countries would have fallen apart. And I'll give you a tangible example. There were amazing people who did work. You had the frontline workers in the healthcare industry, people who are working in retail, supermarkets, who are ensuring that societies across the world had access to food. But people who don't get spoken about is the brand communications industry. Every single one of you in this room who I know was sitting at home in lockdown, still doing the work that was needed, still doing the work so that government had communication in hospitals and clinics to be able to speak to people and say, this is how you get vaccinated. Still being able to do the communication so that retailers and stores and all of these different shopping outlets had the communication they needed to be able to tell consumers that these are the products that are available and this is how your life can still maintain some sense of normality. We're the ones who are doing the work that was needed for society to be able to move forward and to be able to be propped up and to be a healthy society that we have today. And that's something that not many of us speak about. But that is an absolute reality, and that's why the Loeries is here, is to celebrate this community of amazing people who really prop up and hold society and ensures that we're able to move forward with innovation and grace in everything that we actually do. And the Loeries likes to play a small part in that role by celebrating the work that you're doing, so that when you actually enter and win and get that Loerie, you're able to go out there to your boards from a brand side and say, look, our marketing investment is making a difference and you need to spend more. Or as a creative, to be able to win that and go to the brands that you work with and say, look at the work I've done for you. This is validation that we're connecting with consumers and we're absolutely making a difference. And that's why the Loeries actually exists, so that you have a tool, you have something in place that you can say is a tangible example of the excellence that you're actually creating, so that we continue keeping this ecosystem alive. So one of the things that we've done and one of the changes I've made is we also want to ensure that we have strong representation from the Kenyan market to inform the decisions that we make. And Max, everyone knows Max, but you can stand up again and take a bow. Max has been doing an amazing job attending every single Loeries committee meeting. So just to give you an idea, the Loeries committee is the highest decision body within the Loeries organization that's responsible for our operations and the work we do and the strategy of the Loeries. And Max sits on this board and he absolutely gives a strong Kenyan voice to everything that we're doing, ensuring that this community is absolutely represented in all of the work that we're doing. We also have representation from MENA and representation from Nigeria as well, and Max who's doing all of the amazing work. Other than just the Loeries committee as well, we also recognize that we need to have a strong point of market entry program. How do we ensure? Click hard. Oh, see, cheat sheet. Thank you so much. Because somebody helped me. We'll give this credit, but thank you. So we also have put in place a Loeries Youth Committee. Brian, you want to stand up and take a bow? So Brian was in our. Where's Brian? Oh, Brian. Yeah, Brian. So Brian was in the inaugural Loeries Youth Committee, which means we're getting young people to be part of this. I promise you I did not touch anything. We're leaving this back there. So Brian was part of the inaugural Loeries Youth Committee, which ensures that also Kenyan youth have a voice in the Loeries to be able to make decisions that affect the entire Africa, Middle East region. And I'm also really excited. I'm not sure if Joss, are you here as yet? Joss is probably still on the way. And we've also just recently inducted Joss Nganga into the Loeries as well, into the Loeries Youth Committee, and she's going to be continuing all of the great work that Brian started with. So as you can see, we're already ensuring that there's strong Kenyan representation through various levels, whether it's at the highest level with Max involved, or at the point of market entry level as well, as we go through it. I may trouble you for, did that work? So just to give you an idea in terms of what's happening for Loeries Creative Week, so that we can go really quickly and then we can spend our time just catching up and chatting. So Loeries Creative Week is taking place this year from the 3rd to the 7th of October. Some of you would have received judging invitations and some of you will be receiving judging invitations as time goes by. We have this amazing venue that's actually going to be with Table Mountain in the backdrop. So this is the Cape Town City Hall. It's a very iconic building because it's not used as a seat of government anymore. It really is an amazing creative space that a lot of international movies have been shot at, and it's been used in this. What's really interesting is it's the place where Nelson Mandela gave his first speech as a free man after being released from prison. And also interesting enough, it is a place where Queen Elizabeth celebrated her 21st birthday. So if you look at somebody who's 90 plus old, celebrating her 21st birthday was a really long time ago. So it's an iconic space where lots of amazing things have happened. And now what we're going to be doing is going in there and judging and finding the next crop of really amazing creative work. Then we move on to the actual awards and the seminars. So we've got this amazing venue. I know how people hate being stuck in a closed venue most of the time. So we've got this amazing glass marquee on top of a hill with, again, Table Mountain and having a look at the amazing sea. So I'm hoping you can join us to be part of that, to celebrate the best in creative excellence from our region. As I said, it's going to be really quickly. Click. Now, Chris, help me cheat, Chris. Thank you so much. And then the awards itself, Chris, I owe you after this. Thank you so much. And then the awards itself. So how's it actually going to work? One of the amazing things we're doing is the film section is being carved out into its own awards. So we're going to have an entire film night celebrating the best in film from across the region, where you'll be able to sit and watch all of the amazing work. And then on Friday the 7th of October, we have our student awards, and hopefully we'll have some Kenyan representation in that. And then on the 7th of October, the evening, we'll do all of the other categories as well, such as design, digital, and some of the special awards that we have that are handed out there as well. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I've given up on this now. And then we have master classes. We have this amazing venue called the Fugard, also an over 100-year-old building that's been recently modernized. Unbelievable. I was in there recently meeting some of the community from this area as well, and it's just such a fantastic, fantastic venue. One of the interesting things is about the area we're choosing to do all of this, and Chris, if I can trouble you again there, thank you so much, is we're going to be doing this in an area called District 6. Now this is an area that's just full with culture and amazing spaces. There's bars, there's eventing spaces, a few guys there, but it has an interesting history. So in apartheid South Africa, this space had over 60,000 residents who were living there who were evicted, and it was turned into a whites-only area. And it has this really intense history in terms of what oppression has done, but also it has an interesting story in terms of how the human experience has risen above that, the creativity that's come from it. So it's really more of an experience to be able to go into the space, to celebrate the great work that's coming out of the Loeries, and for us to just celebrate as a community coming out from this crazy time of COVID, and for us to be able to get together. So that just gives you an idea. You can see some of the pictures in terms of the spaces and the venues, and if you're coming, don't be prepared to sleep. Sleep is going to be the last thing you're going to be interested in. Sorry, the next one over there, please. So just to give you an idea, last year we held a much smaller Loeries Creative Week. And for anyone who's never been, even though it's smaller, and who else was there? Max was there, Brian was there. Was there anyone else who was at Loeries last year? Amazing, great. So you would have all seen it, what it is. So here's a recap. Chris, thank you again. It's going to be an absolute celebration of all of us in our industry, and I'd love for all of you to join. One of the interesting things is I always get asked wherever we go, like, who owns the Loeries? And I'm sure somewhere in the back of your mind, somebody's thinking, who owns the Loeries? And as I said at the beginning, total non-profit. If you enter the Loeries, who's entered? Has anyone entered? Okay, you'll try. If you've entered the Loeries this year, it automatically makes you an owner of the Loeries. It's that simple. So membership entry means that you become a member, which means that you're a part owner of the Loeries. And that's how simple it really is. That's our legal governing structure itself. So come, this is your party, you own it, and I really want to say this. What I want to do during my time with the Loeries is to ensure that Kenya takes a really strong ownership of the whole Loeries property itself. And for us to be able to work together, that means at the Creative Week, in different events that we do. So if you want to take ownership of this, come, be involved, show up strong as a strong creative community from Kenya itself, and you'll take ownership. Be the loudest voice in the room, and I think it will be really amazing to have all of you there. Thank you so much. I'm going to hand over the next part to Max, who's going to take you through some of the work, and I'll take over from Chris. So thank you everyone once again, and I look forward to chatting once all of these formalities are done.